Tumpigie rais makofi moja, mbili, tatu. Mbili, tatu, ine. Asante sana.
Asante sana. Tuketi, nashukuru. Mgeni wetu siku ya leo, the Deputy President of the ANC, and Deputy President of the Republic of South Africa, distinguished guests, and Wameru, Mogeni Kaire, Hamjambo. Leo hii tukiwa hapa Kenoru Stadium ni siku ya kitaifa. Tukiwa tumeungana pamoja hapa kusherehekea madaraka yetu kama Wakenya. Kwa hivyo nawaomba wenzangu mniruhusu nisome yale ambaye niko naye hapa, ndio tuungane pamoja na Wakenya wengine pahali popote walipo na pia marafiki wetu kutoka nchi zingine. It is with great pleasure to join the people of Meru County today for the celebration and commemoration of Madaraka Day. Indeed, from this county, we owe a great debt to the sons and daughters of this county, from General Mwariama, whose widow, Mama Jacinta, joins us today, to Generals Nkoge, Aimunga Roko, and all the other heroes who fought for Kenya to be free. The tree of liberty was, as our founding president said, watered by their blood, and it is a debt that we can neither repay nor ever forget. The heroes and heroines, the founders and fathers of this nation were wise. They knew that if we did not regularly remind ourselves of what freedom had cost, we would be lax in defending it. So we gather here today to remember the heroes of the past, to celebrate the liberty they left us, and to preserve and protect, as well as propagate, that precious inheritance. Long before the struggle of our independence from colonial rule, we were independent peoples with a long and distinguished history. The migrations that carried the many languages and nations to today's Kenya arose from lands that had grown sophisticated civilizations. A key part of the Pan-Africanist philosophy that Kenya's founding fathers adhered to was that Africa had been the land of great civilizations that lost their way as they came under the external assault of slavery and later colonization. Madaraka, therefore, was an opportunity for a reclamation of our histories as free peoples and to take that freedom and forge it into a political and economic order that would allow us to build a united and successful nation as part of a united and federated Africa. Our founding fathers knew that they would need the vehicle of a modern state to negotiate the sophisticated international sphere if we were to protect our freedom and independence and use it to build a vibrant country. And that is why on the morning of the first Madaraka Day, our people were elated to see their brothers, African brothers and sisters in authority. Some here can still recall that first Madaraka day, the joy and hope that was felt by millions, the horizons that appeared limitless. There was nothing that any people or country in the world could achieve that we could not. Indeed, thanks to the efforts of our administration since independence, and most importantly of the Kenyan people, a lot of progress has been registered. Kenyans today live almost twice as long as the independence generation. This is thanks in part to programs that make medical equipment available to parts of the country that were once underserved. Thanks in part to this administration's free maternal care program, far fewer of our children die at birth or in their first 5 years of life, and we have cut child mortality to a quarter of what it was in 1963. Recent programs also make education free for virtually every child in the Republic, and 9 million children have the benefit of a free primary education, an opportunity open to fewer than 1 million at independence. Once it took Africans 12+ hours on a third-class carriage to get to Mombasa from Nairobi, now we can do it in 4 hours. And indeed, once the standard gauge railway reaches Kisumu, we will travel across Kenya in a single day. We owe all of this to the hard work of Kenyans, work which shows in the simple fact that our income per capita is 13 times what it was at independence. The people of Meru County have always been strong contributors to national progress. This was once a battleground in the war for independence, where blood was shed and intense acts of bravery were performed for our collective benefit. That same spirit of pioneering ambition has allowed this county to be one of the most successful in commerce. And indeed, your sons and daughters who are here with us today serve Kenya at the highest levels of government. They add their efforts to those of Kenyans from across the country who are joined in their diversity by the great cause of building a dignified and prosperous Kenya. Thanks to the efforts that brought Madaraka and later independence, and that we protected as a people, every Kenyan today has the right to be represented in government. You have the right to be treated in a manner befitting your dignity, with the utmost done to provide access to effective education, good medical care, and for your person and property to be protected. Through devolution, your voice is heard more clearly in the governance decisions that affect you and your neighbors. As we celebrate the good that has been achieved over the decades since independence, we know there are areas where we have not done as well. We must be truthful to ourselves and admit that in the past few decades, a few of us have failed their motherland. Some of those trusted to run and manage institutions, resources, and safeguard the public interests have turned to be predators. Through their selfishness, greed, and misuse of authority, Kenyans have been denied critical public services and development. Today, I want to address myself to these enemies who must be boldly confronted by all Kenyans of goodwill, in the same manner our forefathers resolved to join hands in the fight against colonialism. Our forefathers resolved to destroy the yoke of colonialism is what gave birth to our beloved nation. And I have resolved to lead this nation in getting rid of corruption and division, the main challenges we face today, just like colonialism was then. I appeal to all Kenyans to join me in the war that we have started to vanquish corruption. While the challenge may look huge because of the way corruption has become entrenched in some of our people, today we have to declare in unison that corruption in all its forms will be diminished from our country. Like colonialism was defeated, so too we shall defeat corruption. We must, with a sense of great urgency, destroy and eliminate corruption in our country before it fully destroys us and the future of our children. This war must be fought and won by all of us, particularly that which comprises public service. Almost the entire senior team in charge of investigations and prosecutions today is new, and they have been properly resourced. They know their mandate and mission, and they know what Kenyans expect. The Director of Public Prosecutions, the police and other institutions in the multi-agency team against corruption are on the move, and they are making decisive steps to build strong cases for the prosecution of corrupt officials. Their work will bear fruit when the judiciary also responds by ensuring the frivolous and obstructive use of the court system to avoid responsibility will no longer be allowed. I welcome the assurance of the judiciary's leadership yesterday that they are with the rest of government and all Kenyans in this war for our integrity as a country. I am glad that the rest of senior officials have been made, and I can tell you that there are more on the way. I want officials, particularly senior ones, who are directly implicated in corruption, to have no place in my administration, and for them to go where they belong, which is in jail. I will do my part as president to turn government into an instrument that truly serves you and that respects the sacred responsibility to build Kenya into a truly prosperous, fair, and honest country. You as citizens should take up the fight as a key responsibility of your citizenship. We all know from reading the headlines daily that corruption has also seeped into many other sectors of our society. And we must all seize the moment and play our individual role for our country to overcome this evil. We know of teachers who prey on their pupils, impregnating some of them, preachers who swindle their flock, lawyers who defraud clients, journalists who wanafanya nini? Blackmail people, architects building houses using shortcuts, leading to collapse of such buildings, doctors giving false diagnosis to increase their fees, and pharmacies selling fake medicines. Unfortunately, sometimes these crooks have become heroes, and too often some of the worst rogues are welcomed back home like conquering heroes. The truth is that we are facing a grave threat to our moral basis as a people, from government down to family, from leaders to parents, from corporates to individual citizens. We have a role to fight for our honor so that our country can prosper. Your providing information will be key to us nailing perpetrators of corruption. Your resolve to withdraw, respect, and deny honor to those guilty will be the most powerful blow to preventing this vice. Let me now mention just one part of a raft of measures that we intend to implement to tackle corruption. As an initial step, all heads of procurement and accounts in government ministries, departments, agencies, and parastatals will undergo fresh vetting, including polygraph testing, to determine their integrity and suitability. Those who shall fail the vetting will stand suspended. I expect this exercise to be concluded before the start of the new financial year, 2018-2019, and in the coming days, you will hear of other tougher actions that will be taken by my government. Fellow Kenyans, we must have an honest country to protect our liberty and be able to use it to build a glittering African nation. For the sake of honesty, let us agree that our unity, for the sake of honesty, let us also agree that our unity is far from where it should be. Unity, as I said yesterday, does not mean that we agree on all things. But it is a requirement for our country to be able to have the stability that will enable us to invest in it without fear. Our founding fathers knew when they won Madaraka that there was no going back to the political structures that preceded colonialism. The world had changed too much. There were too many dangers to our freedom if we did not come together to forge a new nation. We had fought for freedom together, and today we need to stand together to protect it and turn it into lasting liberty and prosperity. The overwhelming majority of us live in peace and good neighborliness with our fellow citizens. We reach out to one another in good and bad times, and our children play together and marry each other across communities. Yet every 5 years during our elections, destructive divisions emerge that threaten our stability. Some political leaders have made their careers dividing our people, not bringing them together. This is the truth, and we need to deal with it as leaders as well as citizens. Unity is like an engine for a nation that hopes to escape the destructive pull of poverty, civil conflict, and even civil war. There are many different moving parts, but they are all joined in driving forward the vehicle so that it can achieve velocity to move forward. Many countries in our region provide terrifying evidence of what happens to peoples who are disunited. A house divided against itself cannot stand, let alone prosper. We cannot allow political competition to divide us anymore. We cannot allow political competition to divide us, even more because we created Kenya to rise to the heights, not to be in fear every electoral cycle. Our habit of destructive political competition has certainly divided us, but there are other subtler forces. It may be a long wait for some to get public service. It may be disrespectful for our language and culture, or it may be that in the past, one region or another had less than its fair share of Kenya's resources. All of these have played their part in dividing us and in delaying the dreams of our founders. These problems are even older than the Republic. They are certainly not our fault. But if disunity itself is not of our doing, it is certainly our problem to solve. We have a clear choice. We should be bold enough to reject politics of division. We admit that we have made mistakes in the past, but we also have a great opportunity of transforming our society to forge ahead, guided by past experiences, and we must focus on the future. Our founding fathers and mothers understood the dangers of sticking to the past. After the suffering they had undergone in the struggle for independence, which was preceded by decades of dispossession and oppression, they sought to look to the future rather than stay stuck in the past. They told us and said that they would forgive but never forget. This is the spirit that I am committed to. As president and as a citizen, I seek understanding and reconciliation between all Kenyans. I know that our children, to whom we will bequeath this nation, we need to take every step to ensure that our nation has the unity that will save them from lives of poverty, hatred, and failure. This Madaraka Day, and every day henceforth, that is the profound choice before every one of us. If, like me, you choose reconciliation and unity, prepare yourself, because it is not going to be an easy task. It means listening respectfully to each other's fears and grievances. It means being cautious in case of genuine feeling of grievance. It also means being cautious in case of genuine feeling of grievance to ensure that this is not turned into fuel for conflict and even violence. I am listening to all Kenyans. It is my most important duty as president and also as a citizen. It is a duty that I am deeply committed to and that has inspired me to desire to build bridges. Every Kenyan can be a part of this moment to build bridges. We can use our churches, family groups, professional associations, savings and business groups, our schools, and NGOs to build bridges. You need not be told what to do. We all know where the problem is, and each one of us knows where the problems close to you are. Reach out to others and unite with them to provide as many interventions as you can. Your efforts do not have to be grand or be part of a national platform. They just need to be genuine and implemented with others of like mind. This is the way we will have 1 million handshakes to make a strong and united Kenya. Fellow Kenyans, we must also be honest enough to admit that changes to laws or processes is only a part of the solution. The work we are called to do is to build trust and then change hearts and minds. We have many laws in Kenya and a fine constitution. It is not the letter of our law and constitution that will get us to our destination. It is the spirit that we have, or the spirit of the law and the constitution, that will get us to our destination. As we build trust in one another, we must ensure that our government helps us solve some of the most pressing problems that we have. And this is why me and my administration are fighting hard to implement the Big Four agenda. Its pillars seek to directly benefit the lives of citizens, particularly those who are having the hardest time. Our pillar of growing manufacturing to 15% of our economic output as a country. Another which dovetails with the first is to enable the private sector to build 500,000 affordable, quality homes that have good sanitation and adhere to high building standards. And from these two pillars will come a strong expansion of the economy and many jobs for our young people. In pursuit of universal health care, we are extending health insurance to every household. That way, medical emergencies will stop being the threat to the family prosperity and livelihood that they are today. The work has already begun. 4 counties, namely Kisumu, Isiolo, Machakos, and Nyeri, have been selected for a pilot project before we roll out to every part of the country. Let me pause to ask everyone in these counties to enroll in this scheme. And even as we roll out our pilot, we are also working together with county governments to have a minimum of 10,000 people covered in each of our 47 counties, so that as our pilot takes root, we will also have already started rolling out this program in every county. Again, to hasten the process, I promised the governors that they would have the national government's help in enrollment. That offer still stands. Let me stress again that we already have success on which to build. We have grown enrollment in the NHIF from under 4 million in 2013 to more than 7 million at the last count. What we need to do is to strengthen the simple interventions that have saved so many lives, such as our extension of free treated mosquito nets and the free maternal health care program. The 4th pillar is ensuring that every Kenyan has access to affordable and nutritious food. No country can call itself great or even close to greatness if any number of her citizens is threatened with malnutrition or even starvation. Added to these pillars must be the most important pillar of all of them, and that is your productivity and investment as Kenyans. Ladies and gentlemen, we must always keep in mind that Kenya is in the race with the world to be productive enough and innovative enough to produce better and cheaper goods than the rest of the world. I urge every Kenyan in business today to take your growth and success as a key contribution to our country. Building value, paying salaries, paying your taxes is building the nation. I urge us all to redouble our efforts and to invest in ambitious expansion. And I urge workers and their trade unions to also help in investing to grow the cake so that we all have more to divide. As a government, we have offered new incentives to manufacturers, from cheaper power to reforms making it easier to do business. We will keep doing everything we can to be supportive. Remember, however, that our incentives are to help you grow a strong business that offers our people opportunities, not merely to increase your take-home profit. That said, I want every Kenyan to know that political stability based on unity and honest government and people are the crucial factors in building real and lasting prosperity that changes all our families. That platform requires each and every one of us to resolve to play our part, to build bridges to those who we've had differences and conflicts with in the past, to insist that our honor as families and communities be carried high by every one of us. That done, we can look forward to bequeathing our children a nation that glitters with its achievements in every field of human endeavor, its fairness, and its prosperity. We are African people forging their way back to the heights that we have known in our past. We can inspire mankind by extending our harmonious brotherhood and our determination to promote a deep sense of honor as individual citizens and as a people. I want to be part of that Kenya and will work every single day with you to achieve it. May God bless you. May He bless the work of your hands, and may He protect this beautiful land and all her people. Wenzangu, asanteni sana. Sitaki mimi ninene zaidi ya hapo. Yangu nchi hii ya Meru kwa kujitokeza kwa wingi kabisa kusherehekea siku hii ya mashujaa, tukiwahakikishia ya kwamba siku hii ambayo tunawakumbuka mashujaa wetu wengi ambao walitoka hapa kaunti ya Meru kupambana na wabeberu kutupatia uhuru wetu. Jukumu ni letu sasa kuhakikisha tumelinda huo uhuru. Jukumu ni letu kuhakikisha ya kwamba tumeungana pamoja kama Wakenya, tusipojali rangi, dini ama kabila, tukijua ya kwamba umoja wetu ndio utatusaidia kuhakikisha ya kwamba tumeweza kuleta utajiri kwa taifa letu la Kenya, kazi kwa vijana wetu, tuweze kuhakikisha ya kwamba wananchi wetu wakienda mahospitali wanaweza kupatiwa matibabu ya bure, watoto wetu wanaweza kusoma. Mimi najua ya kwamba tukipambana na shida hizi haswa ya umaskini, tutakuwa na nchi ambayo kila mmoja wetu atafurahia. Na mambo haya yote ambayo nimetaja yahusu wananchi wa Meru, yahusu wananchi wa Kisumu, yahusu wananchi wa Mombasa, wa Isiolo, wa Kiambu, wa Uasin Gishu, wa kila kona ya Kenya. Kwa hivyo mimi najiuliza, jameni, kama mambo haya ndiyo Wakenya wanahitaji, bona sisi kama viongozi tusikuje pamoja, tufanye kazi pamoja kuhakikisha ya kwamba tumetendea Wakenya haya ambao wanahitaji, badala ya kutumia nguvu zetu kupigana bure na kutupiana maneno bure ambaye haitasaidia kubadilisha maisha ya wananchi hawa. Jameni, tuwataka turudi tuwe kitu kimoja. Najua kuna mambo mengine gavana ametaja, lakini leo gavana, hii ni siku sio ya Wameru, ni siku ya Wakenya. Na yale ambayo tutaongea leo ni yale ambayo inahusu Wakenya wote. Lakini kesho tutashinda hapa na nyinyi tena. Sasa kesho wewe kuja ulete mambo yako ya Meru. Hali namna gani wenzangu? Si leo ni siku ya kitaifa? Si ni namna hiyo? Kwa hivyo kesho tutaongea mambo yale ambayo inahusu shida na mambo mengine ama kazi ile ambayo tumepangia kufanya hapa Meru County. Nikimaliza, ningependa pia kuchukua nafasi hii kusema niliamua ya kwamba tutakuwa tukisherehekea sikukuu hizi zetu katika kaunti tofauti tofauti, na ndio Wakenya waweze kujua ya kwamba hii siku sio siku ya watu ya Nairobi peke yake, ni siku ya Wakenya, na tutazunguka kila kona ya Kenya, kila kaunti, tuhakikishe ya kwamba wananchi wanaona wanahusishwa kwa mambo yote ya maendeleo ya taifa la Kenya. Na kwa hayo nasema ya kwamba Mashujaa Day ambayo inakuja Oktoba 20 mwaka huu, sisi zote tutasanyana kule Kakamega County, tusherehekee huko pamoja na wenzetu wa Kakamega County. Kwa hayo machache na mengi, nasema Mungu awabariki, Mungu awalinde, na asanteni sana kwa kujitokeza hivyo, mmejitokeza kwa wingi. Asanteni sana.
Sote tusimame tafadhali kwa wimbo wa taifa na wimbo